The first time Josh told me he was sick, he didn't say it directly. He just called me out of the blue and said, "You busy? Got something kinda heavy." My little brother never talked like that. He was always the funny one, the one who cracked jokes at funerals and texted memes during serious conversations. So when his voice shook on the phone, I listened. He said the doctor found something during a scan. He didn't want to panic anyone yet. Didn't want to make it real by saying the word. But I knew what he meant. We lost our dad to cancer when Josh was just 11. He watched it eat through him, week after week, hospital to hospice. So when he said, "They think it's lymphoma," I didn't ask questions. I just asked what he needed. Josh lived 2 hours south. No insurance. No savings. Working part-time at a music shop and crashing in a buddy's guest room. I wired him $4,000 by the end of that week. He didn't ask for it. That almost made it worse. "You're a lifesaver, man," he texted the next morning. Literally. I didn't tell my mom right away. He said he wanted to confirm everything first. I respected that. But even in those early days, something felt weird. It wasn't the illness. It was how calm he was. Josh hated hospitals. Hated needles. Hated being pitted. And yet, every time we talked, he sounded almost relaxed. Like this wasn't real. Or like it was happening to someone else entirely. I drove down that weekend. Told him I wanted to bring food, hang out, keep his spirits up. He texted back a thumbs up and, "No guilt trips." Josh looked fine when I pulled up. Thinner maybe, but not sick. He hugged me like nothing was wrong. We spent the first hour watching TV, him making dumb jokes, eating wings. "You sure you should be eating like that?" I asked, nodding at the spicy mess. He grinned. "Gotta enjoy life while I've got it, right?" I didn't say anything. But something bugged me. There were no pill bottles anywhere. No appointment reminders. No binders or forms like we had when Dad was sick. Just a folded paper taped to the fridge with scribbled words. "Treatment, 3x/WK $140 per." "That from the clinic?" I asked. "Yeah, they gave me that. It's kinda unprofessional, I know." His eyes flicked away. That night, his roommates had a few people over. I stayed quiet in the kitchen, cleaning up. I heard one of them laughing in the next room. "Man, can't believe he pulled that off. He should teach a class." The laughter that followed wasn't nervous. It was proud. I walked into the hallway. Josh and 2 of his friends went dead silent. One of them said, "Oh hey, didn't know you were still up." Josh stood fast. "He doesn't know what that was about. Ignore that." But I knew. In my gut I knew. This wasn't grief. This wasn't courage. It was something else. And I couldn't ignore it anymore. The next morning, I asked gently, "Hey, can you send me the name of the clinic? Just want to see what kind of treatment they're doing down here." Josh froze halfway through tying his shoes. "Why?" I shrugged. "In case Mom asks. You know how she is." He looked at me too long, then said, "I'll text it to you later." But he didn't. Instead, he left that afternoon to grab coffee with a friend. Said he'd be gone an hour. I stayed behind. Sat on the couch. Tried not to spiral. But then his phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Unlocked. Screen up. Normally I wouldn't touch it. But I'd already crossed that moral line in my mind days ago. I opened the Messages app. Nothing weird in the direct texts. Then I saw the group name. Operation Save a Broke Ass. 5 members. All his friends. The most recent message? From Josh. "Yo, just got another $4,000. Man, I should have done this a year ago." Another guy replied. "You're gonna get caught, LMAO." Josh answered. "Not if he keeps believing I'm dying. Guilt is the best currency." I stared at the screen until the words stopped being words. He wasn't sick. He was scamming me. And bragging about it. to people who didn't even flinch. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't slam doors or leave a note. I just grabbed my bag, forwarded the screenshots to myself, and walked out. I spent the next 24 hours barely functioning. Sat in my apartment staring at the wall. My stomach turned every time I thought of his face. Of the way he looked at me, like I was just another mark. The next evening my phone rang. Mom. I almost didn't pick up. But I did. She sounded flustered. Honey, have you talked to Josh? He said you dropped him off at the hospital yesterday and just left. He's been trying to call you. He's scared. I closed my eyes. Did he say which hospital? No. Just that he had a reaction to the treatment. He said they had to adjust his meds. And he's worried about the bills again. My throat burned. She kept talking. He didn't ask me for money, but I can tell he's trying to be strong. If I send him something, can you match it? Just for now? I nearly threw my phone. She didn't know. Of course she didn't. I realized then, this wasn't just about me. He was preparing to scam our mother next. And she'd give it all, just like I had. I had proof. And now I had to decide. Blow it all up? Or catch him in a lie so big, he couldn't talk his way out again. I told Mom I'd handle the money. Said I was already planning to send Josh more for treatment, and it made more sense for it to come from one place. She thanked me. Said I was being strong for the family. I told her I'd deliver it in person. Josh agreed to meet the next morning at a diner halfway between our towns. He walked in wearing a beanie and hoodie, looking like he was playing sick. As if he thought that's what I needed to see. I smiled. Ordered us both coffee. Slid a white envelope across the table. It's from both of us, I said. Me and Mom. He opened it slowly, expecting cash. Instead, he pulled out a dozen printed screenshots. His face changed like a switch got flipped. Eyes widened. Jaw clenched. Fingers froze. What the hell is this? I leaned in. It's what you wrote, Josh. To your little army of morons. About how you were milking your own family for cash. That wasn't serious. It was jokes, man. Save it, I said. You don't get to lie twice. He looked around, panicked. You have no idea how bad things have been. I needed help. You think I wanted to fake cancer? It wasn't fake at first. I just exaggerated. You never went to a single appointment. Silence. You used Dad's death. Used me. And now you're lining up Mom like your next target? He shook his head, like if he denied hard enough, the world would unsee everything. Please don't tell her, he whispered. You should have thought of that before you dragged her into your lie. He reached for the envelope. I pulled it back. This one's mine. The next copy goes to her. That night I called Mom. Not to get even. Just to stop the bleeding. I told her everything, slowly, carefully, giving her every out to say. No, that can't be. But she didn't say anything at all for a full minute. Just breathed. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. You're saying he lied about the cancer? I'm saying he built a story out of it. Used it to get money from me. And he's setting you up next? I emailed her the screenshots. Waited while she opened them. I heard the click of her mouse. Then a sharp, shaky breath. That's his writing. He called it a game. Then came the part one wasn't ready for. She started crying. But not like a sudden wave of grief. It was slow, strangled, like her body couldn't decide if it was allowed to feel this. I thought I raised them better, she said. First your father dies of cancer. Now your brother pretends to? Mom, this isn't your fault. He used your father's death to scam us. Do you know how sick that is? We sat in silence. On opposite ends of the state. Both realizing that family didn't mean what we thought it did. The next morning, I tried to call Josh. Straight to voicemail. His roommates hadn't seen him. His Instagram went dark. Venmo wiped. All traces of him, gone. He ran. Not from cancer, but from the truth finally catching up. 3 weeks later, Mom called again. Her voice was thinner this time. Almost brittle. I got something. From Josh. No return address. Just dropped in my mailbox. She paused. Want me to read it? I said yes. She cleared her throat. Began. Dear Mom, I know you're probably mad. Or disappointed. Or maybe you've already decided I'm gone for good. But I needed to leave. It wasn't about money. Not really. I needed help, but not the kind people write checks for. I was drowning. You just didn't see it. Aaron didn't either. He saw a scam. You both did. But neither of you saw how I'd stopped sleeping. How I'd lost myself completely. Mom stopped reading. I waited. There's more, she said softly. So I made up something. Something big enough that people would pay attention. And they did. I got what I needed for a while. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to remember. When people lie, it's not always to hurt. Sometimes, it's to survive. I'll call when I'm better. If that day ever comes. She folded the letter. Didn't speak for a while. When she did, her voice was empty. I don't know what hurts more. The lie. Or how easy it was to believe him. I didn't have an answer. Because I was still asking myself the same thing. A year passed. No word. No posts. No trace. I moved cities. Started over. Stopped waiting for a call that would never come. Until one Friday night, 11:17 p.m. Instagram DM. I'm in town. I'd like to see you. Just once. From a burner account. No profile photo. But I knew it was him. I didn't respond. The next morning, I got a second message. Same diner. Noon. You don't have to stay. I showed up. I didn't plan to. But I did. He was already sitting there, hood down, hands clasped. Same seat as before. He looked older. Eyes darker. Cheeks sunken, either guilt or real struggle finally caught up. I didn't sit. This is the last time, I said. He nodded. That's fair. Silence. Then he looked up at me. I wanted to tell you I was sorry. But I know that doesn't mean anything. No. It doesn't, I said. You could have asked. Just asked. And I would have helped. He swallowed hard. I didn't believe I deserved help. Only sympathy. You didn't get sympathy. You got money. He nodded again. Didn't argue. I pulled out a folded envelope. Inside, the letter he sent our mom. I don't know if you thought that would fix anything. But it broke her worse than the lie ever did. He didn't cry. Didn't defend himself. I'm in a shelter now, he said. Trying to stay sober. That's not an excuse, it's just where I am. I turned to leave. I'm not coming back, I said. So don't reach out again. He lowered his head. I won't. And I walked away. This time for good. The end.